very important historical person whose name was Paul had a dilemma. He had brought people to a new way of life, and along with it came new ideas and new concepts about how to live life. And some of them were from difficult situations. They were in marriages where, probably because it's not a new deal, where there was verbal abuse or physical abuse, or a husband that couldn't keep a job, or uh, wouldn't be pornography maybe in those days because it wasn't pictures, but involved in seeing stuff that they shouldn't see, all the things that we see today. I don't think there's anything new under the sun. And so they came to Paul with the questions about, what do I do in my marriage? And Paul, the one he served, before he left the earth, he'd given some pretty straight instructions about marriage. And he saw it as being a lifelong commitment, unless somebody decides they want out of it and they leave it through adultery. They decide that they go off with somebody else and I wasn't really interested in you, and they show it and prove it because now they're with this person and they're definitely gone. That was the only indication to this, the greatest person that ever lived, that the marriage was over. Other than that, he felt that all things could be worked out. So Paul was in this tough situation trying to work with these people and figure out how they could work some of this stuff out. One of the things that he came up with, the only thing that he came up with that could fit the criteria of the one he loved and served and also help the people, was, and he says it in a book called 1 Corinthians, and it's in chapter 7, verses 10 and 11, as he said, not I, but the one I serve says, don't get divorced. But he says, and it's not something that he advocated, but he said, and I'm putting a little bit of Living Bible in here. I'm adding I'm not adding words to it in the sense I'm just giving it contextually. As he said, that if you can't basically be with this person, then the only option you have is to separate. And what separation meant to him was that you separated and you didn't get married. You just said, okay, I'd rather live alone than be with this person, or I need to let this person know that this is serious, and I need to say, maybe for my own health, my own protection, maybe for my own sanity, maybe because it's just something I can't live with. You let them know, hey, look, I can't live with this situation. I'm going to go. I love you and care about you, and I'm going to leave the door open, but I can't live with you in this particular situation. And it hopefully is something that's a major issue, not something that's minor. I think there's this real wisdom in that. And this is why. This comes back to the importance of the family. If I thought about, that was just a major concept to me, and it was really the main theme of my book, is there's this place between marriage and divorce that we don't talk about, and it's this place of, I love you, I care about you, I'm going to leave the door open, but I'm not going to stay in this mess. I'm going to tell you this needs to change. I'm going to be over here. I still care about you, and I can be as faithful 3,000 miles away as I can be right here in our living room, but this has to change. So, I did it off of Paul's concept, but I was thinking, where do these people go? Not everybody's got a credit card with an unlimited balance. Not everybody's got, pardon me, $100,000 in the bank and they can just go get a new house, or houses are more expensive than that today, at least in California. But, go off and just find this situation. Some people don't find themselves with a college degree. They're kind of, their ability to just get up and go is very limited. And I thought, I kind of took it personally. I thought maybe by advocating this, I'm boxing people into situations that they're going to go, hey, look, I couldn't. There's nowhere to go. Until one thing happened on the production floor where I work in engineering, is that there were two people on the production floor that became the answer to this problem for me. It was just beautiful. One of them is a guy that took care of his mother. His father had died, and so it was just a natural event that she was going to come live in their house. It was just the way their culture was. Mom's not going to be on the street. She's not going to be looking for handouts. And she was a part of their family, probably helped raise the kids, and was a working member of the family. The second person, and he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, was a guy named Finn. And Finn, his different situation. His mother had died and his father was left alone, but the same principle took place. It was the way that they lived in their country was that dad came to live with him, and actually, in a remarkable sense, his brother came to live with him to take care of dad in his sickness. And Finn went to work and his wife worked, and they had 2 kids. And so this is a pretty full household, but they did what they could to make ends meet. But family came alongside, and they were the place to go. Well, why is that important? The reason that's important is because if we end up divorcing and getting rid of all these families, then where are our children going to go? And if we come from a divorced home, where do we go? I mean, I'm not advocating you go live with your parents. I'm just saying if it came down to a crisis, is your dad's new wife going to want you around? Is your mom's new husband going to care if you stay for a couple of months if you have to in an emergency? Maybe they don't want that. And so the original family is just the real key to that. And so it becomes the reason I don't leave this marriage is to provide a place for my kids. And it becomes a reason why somebody didn't leave me, because again, this family structure is really important. Finn and the other person didn't come from a country where there's like the Social Security and there's all these things that can help you out. They didn't come from countries where the government was really stable, and you could trust, the government to be there, and you could trust them to be honest and civil and all that kind of stuff. They didn't come from those type of environments. And we could say, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we could say that America would come to a place where maybe we just can't trust certain things as happening as they did in the past. So I think we need to come back to that concept, is that family is very important, and family should be there for family. As a matter of fact, in the New Testament, this same Paul was mentioning to a church that, that they shouldn't take care of all these widows and senior people, that and have it in the church budget. Could refer that to, in a national sense, that a nation shouldn't have to pay for a bunch of boarding services for all these people that get to be a certain age. Paul said, where's the family? The family's to take care of this. He said, we shouldn't be burdened with this. And if a family won't do it, they're worse off their religion is worthless. So the family is just a very important key to society. It's an important key to having a place to go if things get rough in your marriage, and maybe you're making good money and you can make that adjustment. But if not, it could be a place to go for safety and for sanctity, to be able to come back and work your family out. I don't remember, but I remember being in my mom's day, they always talked about, if things got rough in the marriage, that she was going to go home to mother. I think basically it was the same concept. So the reason we don't the reason we don't leave the marriage for good, the reason separation was an option as far as Paul was concerned, is because I get away from the situation, but I'm not leaving the marriage. And I make that real clear. I think it's something you should make really clear before you go out the door, is I love you. I'm staying in this marriage. I just can't live in this situation. It's an important place between marriage and divorce, and it's a place that is meant to save the marriage, not get rid of the marriage. You may have people in your neighborhood that feel like, they're separated. It means that they're getting divorced. You need to understand it in the proper concept. It's not a step to the divorce. It's a step to save the marriage. And again, it all comes back to the importance of the family. My name is Ken Conley. I'm the author of a book called The Forgotten Option. We hope that these videos are instructive and helpful to you. Stay together as a family. That's our hope and our goal.